Well, I'm going to do another new thing, which is take two. I've been wanting to do a take two recently, so here I get to do a take two. And you don't get to know the other way in which this was the first time video, because I've been denied permission. So here we go. Psalms notes for the second Psalm session, which I feel don't need to be fully fledged notes, but maybe my officials will not feel the same. That is besides the point. First core idea is that when, O Lord, is better than why, O Lord. Because to say when is to wait upon the Lord. It's not, you're not questioning the integrity of the Lord, like his goodness. You're not questioning the ability of the Lord, like his power, obviously, or his track record, like questioning the miracles that he's done for you and your fathers. When you say why, you are questioning those things, or at least potentially you are. So, oh, by the way, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so my train of thought might be a little bit delayed. So there you go. So why is kind of undermining the goodness of God, but when is simply saying, when is your goodness going to become manifest? I know you are this way, God, so be this way. Or it's a request that God would be the way that he is, which is kind of odd. And that's the gist of what a lot of Psalms do. To say when. And the thing that goes along with that is that to ask for God to show himself, to say, when, Lord, will you show yourself, is to admit that you're weak, because you're not able to handle the situations that God has given you. So you're asking for a return to the pleasant times, and that is something that you wouldn't have to do if you were stronger. But I don't think that it's normally when you say that you're admitting to be weak, that is reprehensible. But really, I think it's acknowledging your dependence upon God. You're acknowledging that God could destroy you in an instant if he so decided. So that is actually good of the psalmist to do. And I think another so this is going back to why, asking why it's inferior to asking when. It's because when you ask why, you're admitting to ignorance more so than when you ask when, I feel. And admitting ignorance is less praiseworthy than admitting weakness, because God has revealed certain truths to us and that we should not be ignorant to, and that we don't actually have excuses to be ignorant to. We're not supposed to be ignorant, even though we're supposed to, in a sense, be weak in the Lord and in Christ. Of course, you're not supposed to. I mean, there are divine mysteries, I admit. So that's all kind of caught up in the ask when, don't ask why feel. Which synthesis, I feel that Job also has this belief that he is asking when and not why. He does ask, why did the wicked prevail? But even that, I feel like it has more of a when is this going to be fixed, oh Lord, flavor than how is this philosophically possible, or how is this true given God's goodness and power, kind of bringing those into potential doubt. Even philosophically, I feel like you can get at it more without getting in trouble. Just trying to understand, even though that might be a futile cause. And so Job agrees with the psalmist in that, but I feel like Job doesn't just ask when, he actually demands that God would do something about it now. And in this sense, he sins, and he repents of this at the end of the book of Job. And the psalmist doesn't do this, and so the psalmist is a better sufferer than Job in some of the lamenting psalms. Although it's hard to evaluate the quality of the lamenting of the psalmist because God never speaks up and says if he approves it or not, unlike Job. And I talked about this more in the first take, but Psalms is kind of difficult to interpret hermeneutically, personally, for me, because it raises a lot of questions of inerrancy and where does the authority lie in the speaker or in the spirit, and when can I see it's the spirit, and if it's just the speaker, is it guaranteed that what he's saying is right because maybe he's mistaken, even though he definitely said that at one point, and it just is all the truth, is part of the truth. It applies for lots of things, not just the Psalms, I suppose. And second core idea, which I need to wrap up pretty quickly, is that I'll get to that at some future point. Second core idea is that you won't be satisfied. If you're suffering, you're not going to be satisfied with anything less than the total removal of all evil, which it ain't going to happen till Judgment Day. So you need to learn how to worship and praise God even in the midst of evil and suffering. Like there's just one psalm that says, just take away my disease and I'll be able to worship you. I'll be happy even if I still have enemies, but a lot of the other psalms will say, take away my enemies and then I'll be able to worship you and praise you. But I think the conclusion in some of the other psalms, or maybe even some of the same psalms at the end of them, is that you have to worship God even in the midst of suffering. And maybe through the man of suffering, we can do that more readily. And I think that is extremely important view to have, that we must worship God in all times, even when we are suffering. You can't hold off on praising God until things become perfect. That is ridiculous and evil. So hopefully the volume's good enough at this point, but there you go. Take two.